So you want to play a bard, or you're thinking about playing a bard in Ashes of Creation. I don't blame you, it's the best class in the game. As a level 25 bard myself, I guess there are a few tips and tricks that I can pass down to the upcoming and incoming bard players, right? But before you guys even select bard as your archetype in the character creation screen, there are 3 main things that I need you to have before you become part of our cult. After school theater program. Number 1, you have to realize that you are not the majority. DPS players are always the majority in MMOs. First, it's tanks, clerics, sometimes I guess those are interchangeable, but in Ashes of Creation, number 3 is gonna be the bard. So, are you okay with being in the minority? Oh my gosh, bro, here we go. This is not a joke about me being black. Number 2, you gotta be funny or have a sense of humor. Now, some of you might say, well, Q, you're not funny. I actually spent thousands of dollars on a college degree to validate myself as an actor. I'll give you an example. So I went to an audition the other day. It's for a film talking about old presidents, whatever. They come up to me and say, hey, you're gonna be auditioning for Slave Number 4. I said, hold on a second, pump the brakes. I came here to audition for George Washington.
Okay.
They laughed, brought security over, and removed me from the audition. Now, this is exactly what I'm talking about here, right? Last tip, and all jokes aside, man, you're gonna have to be able to adjust and adapt to situations pretty quickly. As bards, we can do a little bit of everything, so whatever the situation calls for is what you're gonna have to step up to. So let's get into it. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna respec the entire thing and we'll go through our ability bar together. So first off, you're gonna get Quick Whip. That's gonna be your first ability. I have that right here on the 1. That's what I open up with. It can heal yourself, allies, or it can damage an enemy, causing demoralized. So first things first, what type of instrument do we want to use? Okay, well, if you're based, as the kids say, you're gonna go flute. That's exactly what we're doing here. And this is exactly where it already gets kinda convoluted. I don't wanna say you have to choose what kind of bard you wanna be, but it's almost like you kinda gotta choose what kind of bard you wanna be. So me, I'm going pensive. I love pensive melody. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I don't ever look at things like, how can I come in here and be the best in my party? The way that I look at the bard class is, what can I do to help my team out so we can accomplish our goal? That's exactly how I go in looking at things. And I believe pensive melody is probably our bread and butter, because literally no one else can do what we're doing. We need to keep mana up, 1000%. Yeah, we can heal, but we have clerics for that, right? We need to keep mana up. So that's like my go-to. So after pensive melody, where do we want to go? Well, I like shielding dance. That's just me, because this is going to help our homies stay alive. It's going to give them an extra 300 HP in terms of a shield for another 15 seconds. Before it got nerfed, it was 400, but it's all good. It's a really, really good move. I like it a lot. Discordance is huge, 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 because we do need a move where we can start doing some damage. And with Discordance, this is going to do arcane damage, which applies staggered. We'll get into like the synergies about everything a little later, but just remember that. So right now we have pensive, we have shielding dance, we have discordance, and every 5 levels you can move on to the next tier. So what else can we add in here? Hymn of the Mind. Again, like I said, we'll get into the synergies about things a bit later, but Hymn of the Mind is huge. So now you either have a single target or an AoE target. What Hymn of the Mind does, in short, is it restores mana. You send out a beam and it's gonna restore mana. If it's a single target, it's gonna restore more mana. If it's an AoE target, it's gonna restore less mana, but restoring mana nevertheless. Now, since you're usually in a party, it'll probably make the most sense to do AoE, right? If you're alone, I wanna say this, if you are alone, and you're someone that likes to play solo all of the time, you know, maybe you're a crafter and you happen to be a bard, you can do this as a single target, and it's just as good. It's great, to be honest with you, but for the game Ashes of Creation it doesn't, for me, in my head at least, I don't think it makes sense to go solo target, right? You're always in a group, things are always getting done in group. The things that matter are getting done in terms of a group, so go AoE. That's just how I look at it. So now we've unlocked our next tier, which is dope, right? Because we did our 5 abilities. We have pensive, we have shielding, we have discordance, we have Hymn of the Mind, and I think the flute actually counted as that. So cool. Nevertheless, there are still some things down here that I want to take care of. So let's look at Lovely Serenade. Now, Lovely Serenade does the same thing that Hymn of the Mind does, right? You still have your single target and then you have your AoE target. So again, since I'm always in a group, and mind you guys, this is just how I'm playing the Bard, right? You guys might figure something else out, but this is just kind of how I like to do things. The way I look at it, we know Bards are a jack of all trades. So I try to have a little bit of everything, but as we get further in, you'll see that you'll kind of be able to specialize in some things in a way and still be able to do other things that are beneficial for the party. So I do want Lovely Serenade on there because I have used it in some like oh crap moments where it's like, all right, cool, you know, cleric, they're trying to heal the tank, but some people are about to die. Let me throw that out. And it's a nice, quick healing move. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Gambit. I remember seeing Gambit in the Bard showcase and I was like, you know what? I want to get this move. And essentially what it does, if you have 10 HP and I have 100 HP, I can use Gambit and it's a life swap. I will now have 10 HP and you'll have 100 HP, right? So it's a kind of like a last resort move. Again, maybe the cleric's down, the tank's about to go down, and you use that move right then and there because you're like, you know what, who is here right now? So I have that on. I don't use it a ton because I feel like clerics are usually doing their job right? So I like to have that on just in case. Okay, so what else can we get into that's gonna be doing maybe some damage? So again, we open up every single rotation with Quick Wit in terms of attacking. So we know that Quick Wit is going to demoralize. So demoralize, damage dealt reduced by 10% for 8 seconds. Duration can be extended up to 20 seconds by subsequent applications. Okay, so this demoralizes the enemy. I know Clever Retort is going to be a great follow-up. Why? Interrupt your target with a Clever Retort, applying silence. So 1, because it silences your enemy. 2, it applies Humiliated if the target is demoralized. Remember how I said we'll look into some synergies? This is some of that synergy stuff right here, right? So you want to open up with Quick Wit going into Clever Retort because right now that's already 3 debuffs. They're demoralized, they're silenced, and now they're humiliated. We love that. But now we also have Discordance. So now Quick Wit into Clever Retort into Discordance. So those 3 debuffs, let's lead it to a 4th because Discordance is now going to stagger them. What other move can we pick? We have 17 ability points left, so we're eating. We have a ton of time. What else can we do? Mesmerizing Dance. Quickly strike a dazzling pose. Mesmerizes all nearby enemies, applying incapacitated for 11 seconds. Any targets with staggered also become stunned for 3 seconds. We love that. So we're adding even more debuffs on to the party. So that's a lot of my rotation right there, to be completely honest with you, right? It's not the whole thing, but that is a lot of it right there, right? I'm opening up with Quick Wit, then I'm going to Clever Retort, Discordance, Memorizing Dance. And because I know what's next, this is exactly what we're gonna do. Well, okay, I'm lying to you. Remember how I said that's how you wanna start in terms of damage? Anthem of a Clarity is how you truly wanna start your rotation as a Bard, right? Because what's gonna happen here is Anthem of a Clarity, same thing as Hymn of the Mind and Lovely Serenade. You have a single target and then you have an AoE target. What this does is it ups your physical attack speed and magical casting speed by 25% if it's the single target. If it's the AoE target, which applies it to 3 other people in your party, it's only by 10%, but that's still huge, right? So let's go ahead and throw that on. If we're starting our rotations with Anthem of a Clarity, which is gonna up our casting speed into our damage phases, bro, we're lit. And then through those damage phases, we're applying a ton of debuffs. Okay, what else can we choose? Dark Lullaby, same thing. We have an AoE target and then we have a single target. What do we want to do? I'm gonna be honest with you, I really like the single target for Dark Lullaby, but the AoE just makes a bit more sense. Now let me tell you why I have Dark Lullaby here on our ability bar. Because enemies in front of you take spirit damage, plus an additional 10% spirit damage for each debuff they have up to 5. So if we sit here and we throw this on, what this means is we're opening up with Anthem of a Clarity, right into Quick Wit, which is gonna do Demoralize, into Clever Retort, which is gonna silence and humiliate them because they're demoralized, into Discordance, which is gonna stagger them, into Mesmerizing Dance, which is gonna incapacitate them and then stun them. And now that's more than 5 debuffs. So now we'll end off with Dark Lullaby. because it's even more damage because of those debuffs. And that's pretty much the entire rotation right there. But yes, there is still more because we just unlocked the third tier, right? In terms of what we want. And now these are stories up here, but things get, I'm telling you, man, it gets a little crazy. It gets a little crazy. I will say though, down here, the only reason I haven't spec'd into Chilling Lament is because I'm not getting into weapons right this second, but your weapons have abilities where they can kind of do something similar that Chilling Lament does, right? So I wanted to spec into other things because I didn't want to feel like I was taking up a spot. And that's the same exact reason why I only have one melody active down here. We're still in alpha, right? We know it's phase 1. Respecking doesn't cost anything. I don't need to have several abilities here selected because I know I can just click another one. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a huge deal to me. So that's why I run it that way. All right, so now moving on. Okay, so we got our casting time, we got some damage, we got our shield, we got Hymn of the Mind, which is giving back mana. We have Lovely Serenade, which is giving back health whenever we need it. I think it's time for us to get a bit stronger. So around level 12, no, exactly at level 12, you get Crescendo or Counterpoint. So what Counterpoint does, this allows you to weave back and forth between two songs, right? I remember watching the showcase, the Bard showcase, and I was like, you know what? This is exactly what I want to do. Why wouldn't I want to have Pensive Melody up, which is going to give us mana back, or Cheerful Melody up, which is going to give us health back? I could have one of those, which I'm doing right now, or I could have both of them. So why not have both of them? And that's exactly what I thought. I was like, you know what? I'll have Pensive and then I'll have Cheerful and we'll just go back and forth. Mana, HP. Or in some cases, it's probably better to do mana and then damaging with Menacing Melody, because with Menacing Melody, you get a damage multiplier that's increased by 10%. But wait, there is more, right? Instead of Counterpoint, there's Crescendo. Now, with Crescendo, your melodies increase in power over the course of the initial 20-second channel, up to a 50% greater effect. This bonus can be maintained indefinitely as long as the channel holds. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go Crescendo, because now instead of my Menacing Melody doing 10%, it's gonna do 15%. Right? My Pensive is going to be stronger. My Cheerful is going to be stronger. My Cathartic Melody is going to be stronger. Everything is going to be stronger because I have on Crescendo. And this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say there's so many different builds that you can do for bards. I didn't even get into it with you guys because I said we're at level 12 right now. Forgive me, because we have Flourish, which is right here. We're going to throw that in. That's like the bard variant of Blink, if you would, right? At level 5, you're going to get Resonant Weapon. So casting any non-melody ability will grant you 1 stack of Resonance, stacks up to 10 times. Now with Resonance, your next weapon combo finisher triggers an additional effect based on your active melody. This effect will consume up to 4 Resonance stacks to increase power, and then the abilities are listed below. So like here, we have on Pensive, restore mana to a nearby ally, and need equal to 99.6 magical power, favors yourself and party members. So you want to generate Resonance stacks. How can you do that? You can literally do that just by using the move Flourish, right? Or like it said, any non-melody ability. So the more stacks that you have, the more mana that you're gonna continue to give back to your party. And this is exactly what I'm saying. It's not just mana. You can do the same thing with Cheerful. You can do the same thing with Cathartic and Menacing, right? So like with Menacing, apply 5 stacks of shock to each target hit. With Cathartic, deal bonus bleed damage and apply wounded to each target hit. With Cheerful, heal an injured ally for 75 healing, favors yourself and party members, applies Glee at 3 or more Resonance stacks. We haven't even completed what we're trying to do, but this is exactly what I'm saying here. So now we know that we have Pensive going, which is restoring mana. We have Hymn of the Mind, and every time we use that, we're gonna wait for it to cool down and we're gonna keep throwing it back out because we want to give our party members mana. We're gonna be giving more mana because of the stacks of Resonance that we're getting through doing our rotations. And then through doing our rotations, we know that we're applying debuffs to the enemy, which is gonna do more damage with Dark Lullaby at the end. Okay, what else can we do to make ourselves stronger? We have Song Mastery. So before we even get into Song Mastery, I'm not a huge fan of Dance Mastery. It's nothing too crazy over here, right? So for like Dance Mastery power, Flourish causes your next dance move to have a 50% increased radius. Don't really care, to be honest with you. Dance Mastery energy, Flourish now only has 1 charge, but each time you complete a dance or you just get off the stage, your Flourish cooldown resets. Yeah, I don't really care. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is what I care about right here. Song Mastery Dissonance. Completing songs during their casting melody will grant you and up to 2 nearby allies within 15 meters 3 stacks of Discordant Note. Okay, if you want to do some more damage, that's fine. Cool. And now, right below that, it'll give you the respective songs and move that go along with it. That's fine, but I don't necessarily want to be a damage type of bard. I want to do more support. So let's see what harmony is about. Playing songs during their matching melody will cause them to gain 30% increased effect. Okay, so wait. So you're telling me if I'm playing a song, a move will have a 30% increase. So here, Anthem of a Clarity will have a 30% increase for epic melody. Hymn of the Mind will have a 30% increase if you're doing pensive melody. Lovely Serenade, 30% increase for cheerful melody. Chilling Lament, 30% increase for cathartic melody, and then Dark Lullaby, 30% increase for menacing melody. So we have pensive on, we have pensive melody on, and it matches up with Hymn of the Mind. So this means that if we cast pensive melody right now, let's look at Hymn of the Mind, what happens? Gold bar, which means that our Hymn of the Mind is now stronger by 30%. So again, I've used this in other ways too, because let's say we want to throw on cheerful. Let's say we throw on cheerful right now, right? And we pop cheerful. Cheerful melody, same thing's gonna happen with Lovely Serenade, gold bar. This is actually huge because your songs should always be up. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Even if you are waiting around doing nothing, you could be waiting for a Carfin run, you could be waiting to go get some wood. You should always have a song up as a bard. I don't care what you're doing. You need to always have something up. And this is one of the reasons, because your next ability that's matching with that melody is going to be stronger, right? So we'll drop that. We'll throw pensive back on. All right, we still have 12 ability points here. I'm a huge fan of song mastery harmony. I would say do it, right? Again, this is just how I play my bard, guys. So from here, where else can we go? Nimble Dance is good, right? This is gonna grant nimble and pep, cleanses the debuff from yourself and nearby allies. This is good whenever you're getting poison or some annoying debuff is happening. I've used it, it's kind of coming clutch for your boy. So I would definitely say that. I would also say for Maddening Dance, because what this does, you dispel one buff on nearby enemies. There are some mobs that freaking heal, dude. They respawn. And I'm like, yo, you know what? Let me try Maddening Dance. And I'm like, you know what? It's not gonna work. And it actually worked on them. So I would say that should have a spot in your arsenal personally, right? Because again, who else is doing what we're doing? And you have to look at it that way. What can we bring to the table that other classes can't do? Why should people pick up your bard, or why should people pick up a bard in general when they could just fill with another DPS? We have to do something that the other classes cannot do, and we have to do it well. This is exactly why I say a song should always be up. You should always be ready. You have something to go all the time. And like I said, man, after tanks and mages, it's us. Don't let these people gas you up. No. After tanks and mages, it's us. It might change when we get summoner. I'm not too sure, but that third spot is bards right now for sure. So we got crescendo up. So this is gonna make our melodies 50% stronger, which is dope. We love that. Now we get into our stories. So what can we do here? Okay, I'll tell you right now, I have Wonder on, and Wonder is also part of my rotation. Literally, every rotation I'm popping Wonder. Nearby party members gain Wonder. Increase magical power by 10%. We love that. So mages, clerics, other bards, we love that. We're gonna throw that in there. So actually, we'll pop Wonder right now too. Increase magical power by 10%, cool. But we also get something else with that. We get Mystery. Mana restoring effects increase by 10%. Do you see what I'm saying, guys, in terms of like why the bard is so great? Because we'll start off, we popped pensive, mana's up. With our resonant weapon, if we have stacks of resonance, it's gonna be even more. We have Song Mastery Harmony on, so that's gonna make our Hymn of the Mind even stronger when we're trying to give back mana. And then on top of that, we have Wonder, which is increasing magical power by 10%. But more importantly, we're getting mana restoring effects increased by 10%. And you wanna know what's even crazier than that? Let's pop Wonder again. It stacks. So you can do this up to 3 times. So mana restoring effects increase essentially by 30%. Again, now this is the type of bard that I play. I also have Conflict on my bar, right? What Conflict is gonna do, nearby party members gain Conflict, increase physical power by 10%. All right, that's lit. You know what I'm saying? If you got fighters, tanks, cool, whatever, do it up. So let's pop it. And now what does that give us? This gives us a Tragedy. Damage done increased by 5%. Okay, so if I want to be a more physical type bard, I can pop this 3 times for an increase up to 15%. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So now we know that, so for those of you that don't know, you have two tragedies, two mysteries, and then you have two comedies, right? So your two tragedies are conflict, which we have. The other one is chaos. Now, this is magical critical chance increased by 15%. That's cool. I don't got that one on. Then for your mysteries, you have destiny. Physical critical chance increased by 15%. Kind of the same thing as chaos. Don't really want that. I'm more of a wonder guy. Increase magical power by 10%. And then for your comedies, you have triumph and joy. Joy is gain temporary health equal to 10% of your maximum health. Triumph, gain 10% max health and 1 stamina regeneration. I like that one a bit better, so we'll throw that on. And then on top of that, let's pop it and let's see what it does. Comedy, healing done increase by 5%. Okay, so same thing. So like right now, we have mystery up because we had pop to wonder. So pensive with the resonance, with hymn of the mind, with crescendo, with harmony from song mastery. We're doing so much. And now we can take the same thing and apply it to healing just by changing pensive to cheerful and do the same thing, because it would then be cheerful with the resonant weapon, with lovely serenade, with song mastery, because song mastery is going to make lovely serenade even stronger. And then on top of that, comedy stacks up to 3 different times. Your stories stack up to 3 different times. So your healing done is actually increased by 15%. Your damage done is increased up to 15%. Your mana restoring effects are increased up to 30% if those respective stories are cast 3 times at the same time. Now, bro, I told you, it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. We have 7 points left. I would say if you're a bard, you gotta have your sagas on, so there's 2 points right there. So essentially, your tragedies are gonna have to do with your damage. Your destinies are gonna have to do with your mana. And then your comedies are going to have to do with HP healing, right? So like right now, we have one each. We have a comedy, we have a mystery, and we have a tragedy, yellow, blue, red, right? And if you look down, the myth of creation. Apply status effects to all nearby enemies around your target, depending on their primary archetype. It all depends on what moves you wanna cast. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even cast sagas all the time. I just spam the stories because I continuously want the effects. So if I'm in a rotation, I'm casting Wonder. Once this runs out for 30 seconds, it also takes 30 seconds for the cooldown. I'm popping it again. I want them to have increased magical power by 10%. I want that to keep going, whatever it is. Same thing if it's a tragedy, same thing if it's a comedy. I'm just popping them. I'll show you a rotation here soon enough. I'm definitely gonna go Mighty Step. This is gonna make our shield stronger. When any of your applied shield effects are fully absorbed, you gain a stack of resonance. This is literally another way to make your melodies even stronger. So why wouldn't we do that, right? And now here you have 4 abilities left. I am definitely gonna go Marionette. I've kind of been speaking in a PvE sense right now, but I'm gonna be honest, in terms of like PvP, this is probably one of the bigger PvP moves. Target enemy is afflicted with Marionette, stunned, forced to dance against your will, lasts 10 seconds, or until damage taken exceeds 10% of the instigator's max health. So yeah, why wouldn't we have that on there? You definitely wanna open up with that as well. Get them where you want them and DPS them down. Fierce Wit is cool. It applies burning to Quick Wit, right? You can also get another debuff here, which is applying Trip to enemies with 2 or more movement and parrying debuffs. Endless Jest, it increases the number of Quick Wits you have, right, by 1, which is dope. So you could demoralize an enemy, then heal an ally, or you can heal yourself twice, whatever it may. And here, I kind of just scattered, to be honest with you, right? Merriment is good too. Each time your Glee heals, it has a 5% chance to bounce to another nearby ally. Glee grants an additional 1% mitigation. That's actually huge. Again, if you're going for that type of healing bard build. So if I throw on Cheerful Melody, everything else is already set up. I got my Cheerful Melody, so now I know my Lovely Serenade is gonna be stronger. And now instead of popping Wonder, I'm probably just gonna pop Triumph. And then same thing, if I go Pensive, okay, cool, we got Hymn of the Mind. And now instead of popping Triumph, we're gonna pop Wonder. And that's what it's gonna be. But I do Endless Jest. It's nice to have another Quick Wit just cause I don't really care about the burning or tripping, to be honest with you. I'm gonna do Avert Your Gaze. Each tick of Maddening Dance also applies Shaken, and the final tick will apply Humiliated to any targets facing you. All right, cool, Shaken. Physical mitigation reduced by 15% for 6 seconds. Duration can be extended up to 15 seconds by subsequent applications. Man, that's huge. So we want that, all right? And we have 1 point left. So the last point I actually just put back into Serenade. Single target Serenade applies Emboldened, gain 150% healing and temporary health. Additionally, gain 30% base mitigation while the shield holds lasts 8 seconds. That's pretty big, but we have on the AoE. AoE Serenade healing increased by 20% and applies Glee to targets below 50%. I think that's huge, so let's get that on in there. And that's how I run my Bard, man. So we'll do a rotation here. So now what I will say is I usually always open up with a Clarity. You don't have to do Marionette. It doesn't hurt. I just don't always do it. Again, if it's PvP, it's slightly different, but that's just my 2 cents on that. I open up with the Clarity. Casting speed's gonna go up. We go into Wonder. Cool. Magical is gonna go up. Okay, now I'm going into Quick Wit, Demoralized. Clever Retort, Silence, Humiliated, Staggered from Discordance, Mesmerizing Dance, Incapacitated, and Stunned, right? And then Dark Lullaby, which would do more damage. But we kind of scuffed that one. This is actually good right here. So the War Mage is actually kind of good. So what I'm gonna do, hopefully we don't pull. We'll get into a pull right here. You don't have to do Marionette. I usually don't in my PvE pulls, but it's just there because it is a solid move to have. So what I'm gonna do to start off, okay, this is a War Mage, and we see right here, Mage Armor, reduces magical damage taken. All right, cool. We're not too worried about that though. So what I'm gonna do, start off with the Clarity. I'm gonna go into Wonder. Okay, cool. Boom, Quick Wit, Demoralize. Clever Retort, Silence, Humiliated, Discordance. Stagger them. Mesmerizing Dance, Incapacitated, and Stun. Let's go here, Dark Lullaby, because of the debuffs. And now we can even take off their, we probably should have taken off their buff earlier, but as you can see, it dropped. And now we're here, and we're attacking. And now we just go through the same thing again. Same rotation. Now if you're with a party, I would say definitely drop. I'll click on myself here. If you're in a party, I would definitely say Hymn of the Mind, and this is the AoE version, so it's doing a bit less, but I would definitely say drop Hymn of the Mind. And that's pretty much the rotation. I'll show you a few more, you know, we'll just get into it. And that's really it, man. It's a bit easier when you're in a party. That is literally my rotation. I'm not messing with the oculars. That's just not happening. Call me scary, whatever, but I use Flourish right there. Look at that, right? Resonance. We got some more resonance. This is what I'm talking about. So yeah, man, that's really it. But again, there are so many different ways that you can play the Bard. Even over here, Dianism. Pep lasts a second longer. Don't really care about that personally. You know, I'm sure it's gonna expand more once we get into phase 2 into phase 3 as well. So we'll have to be on the lookout for that just to see how things change. But as of right now, this is how I've been playing the Bard in phase 1, right? Essentially, this is how I'm going to play the Bard in phase 2 as well, but we have to see what the changes are going to be. We'll do one more rotation or a few more rotations and we'll call it. Actually, since we have on the AoE versions of everything, tell you what, we'll pull all these guys and I can show you what Dark Lullaby does in a group setting. So we'll attack there, we'll attack here, put my boy over here, we'll attack here. Come on, come on. And now, all right, cool, I'm getting jumped. We'll pop shield. Go here. Oh, I didn't even mean to do that. I messed up the rotation. But a Clarity. Oh, we have 2 charges of Quick Wit, so it's all good. Clever Retort. Boom. Discordance. Here, Mesmerizing Dance. And then Dark Lullaby. We already dropped the one. Cool. Not worried about it. And then we focus on my boy right here. And that's it, man. That's it. Got a little sketchy right there, but lovely Serenade. Boom. We're lit. We are lit. So yeah, man, that's my Bard. There are so many different builds that you can do with the Bard, and that's why I love it. If I want to do mana, I'll do mana. If I want to do healing, we'll do healing. Damage, we'll do damage, whatever it may. Or you can do a bit of each, right? And as we continue to go on in phase 2 and phase 3, I'm sure it's just gonna grow even more. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope to help somebody. I hope you will now go out into Vera and become the best thespian they have ever seen. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.